We usually have comments from the floor at this time that we are regarding the agenda. So do we have anyone on the floor that would like to discuss the agenda items for this meeting? Okay, we'll move along then. The first item is the approval of the minutes, the April minutes. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is the approval of the bills for April. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The next is the approval of the monthly reports, city clerk, city treasurer, court clerk for April. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And we have, the next one is our resolution number 26, the appointment to the zoning board. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
A second. I'll leave the discussion on this one. Mark Berry is moving off. He is looking at maybe another committee assignment. And Kathy Christopher is going in his place. Do I have any other discussion? Can we take a roll call on this?
Lyon.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Dillon.
Yes.
Powers. Yes. Ruffing.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Urbanetti.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is resolution number 27. This is the wastewater treatment UV disinfectant project. These are the contract awards, and we have 3 contractors that are awarded. I'm sorry, motion.
Motion. Second.
And so I've already been leading with the discussion, sorry about that. The low bidders came in at $5,874,899. Roswell East, Stisling Electric, and Trefison and Sons LLC were the awarded contracts. So we're looking for approval on those. Any other discussion?
Chet, do you have any input on these contracts?
Yeah, so this is the UV project we've been talking about for quite a while. This is our next step to getting financing for the project through EFC, is to actually award the contract, secure those numbers, and then we'll be able to open our line of financing through EFC. Engineer's estimate, they were within 1% of the engineer's estimate, not including the contingency of like another $1.3 million. So the prices we got are actually surprisingly good for this construction economy.
Thank you, Chet.
The second whereas, we just need to change that to 2024, March 27, 2024.
Yeah, there's an extra 0 in here. Thank you. Any other comments?
Well, while we're pointing that out, there's on the fourth whereas, it's CIT of Little Falls. If we're on the
Thank you. Get rid of some typos there.
Thank you.
Okay, no other discussion? Let's do a roll call on this one as well, please.
Lyon.
yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Dillon.
Yes.
Powers. Yes. Ruffing.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Urbanetti.
Yes.
Okay, and the next one is resolution 28. This is New York SLRS. It is the New York State Retirement Program. Others would look at it as a pension, our pension fund. It was not paid in 23 and 24, and so this is a payment plan that takes us through 28. And you can see both funds are involved in the PFRS as well as ERS. So nothing was paid on that. These, yes, do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion?
We could probably beat ourselves to death trying to figure out why these things weren't paid promptly. It's so, I'm in full support.
It's $30,000 a month is what the payment plan is. So it's not small. But it'll at least catch us up from the 2 previous years, and we'll still be working on, the current years that we're in. So we're running right around with Sarah. Sarah, it's close to $2 million a year that we have to come up with as well.
Not a year,
Nothing.
but total for the 2 years. It's like a little over $1 million a year.
Okay. So this was one of those things that happened in the past, and we're paying the price now. So it's one of many that you'll see coming out here along the way. You took a roll call on this one.
Lyon,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Dillon,
Yes.
Howard. Yes. Ruffing,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Urbanetti.
Yes.
And the next one is resolution number 29. We're requesting a public hearing for local law number 3, water and sewer rates. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion?
Again, we're on the precipice here. We really didn't have much choice on this. We needed to do these increases to bring things as current as we can. The increases are not light to enjoy, but they're necessary and they're actually fairly modest.
Yeah, so I was chatting with Tim just to get some context on prior years, and it seems like this is pretty in line with what we've done, so it should be nothing too alarming from my understanding.
Well, it is and it isn't. Actually, we went up last year in water, but sewer hasn't been up in quite a few years. So we went a little bit higher in sewer than we did the water. But we kept them at as modest an amount as we possibly could.
Yeah, I think, most people would agree that it's not reasonable for a city to keep those costs, as costs are rising everywhere in the past 4 years, more than it has in history. I think it makes sense for the city to just reassess that.
Yeah. Inflation has hit everything.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay. And can we get a roll call on this one as well, please?
Lyon,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Dillon,
Yes.
Howard. Yes. Ruffing,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Urbanetti.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is resolution number 30, public hearing for local law number 4. This is providing for the use of and reimbursement of legal and engineering consulting services. And basically, what this is, a lot of cities do this. In fact, it's very common. We just never got around to doing it. So we need a motion.
Motion.
Second. Did we get a second?
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'll start the discussion here. This is something that when a development comes into town, and we have a need for engineering services that are specialized, it doesn't burden the taxpayers of Little Falls. It is reimbursable through the developer, so the developer would compensate for that. Just about all the communities have this sort of thing. And our city attorney brought that to my attention that we don't have it, and it's a good idea. So as we're working through applications and looking at specialty areas that we need to bring someone in, it shouldn't be on the taxpayers' back. Any questions about this one? Okay. No discussion? So let's do a roll call on this one as well.
Lyon,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Dillon,
Yes.
Powers. Yes. Ruffing,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Urbanetti.
Yes.
Okay. And the next one is Resolution 31, New York State Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. This refers to the lead line replacement. And this is more of a revolving fund. I have Chet explain in a minute. So do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Chet, do you want to pick this one up?
Sure. Sure. So this is related to the mandated lead service line inventory and replacement project that the city has to undertake, along with all communities across the country over the next 10 years. We're just finishing up phase 1, which is completing our inventory. It's due in this October. About 8 months ago, we received just under $150,000 grant through the EPA, and their money trickles down to the state level through Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC. We just received this past month another grant which will bring us up to $541,780 of grant money to help us move forward with this project. So once the inventory is done, we'll start replacing lead service lines, and the target for the EPA is 10% of your lead service lines replaced per year. So 10 years you should be in the period. So this is the city accepting that grant money and then allowing us to move forward with financing it through the state revolving fund.
Chad, when do we have an idea when we're gonna know, 100% of the lead lines that we need replaced, so that we have a number?
We'll have that completed in October. It's due October 16th this year. On the whole, we're looking at about 80% of our service lines are lead.
Chad, are they gonna make the cities, take the lead out of their main joints too?
No, not the main joints.
Not the main joints.
No,
just
this
the
is
surface,
just from the port to the, actually into the house. That's the
Right.
that's the whole way.
They go all the way into the house?
Going to the house, right?
Yeah.
Is it like be on a list for that?
What's that?
Can you get on a list for that?
So after the inventory is due on the 16th, October 16th, that inventory has to be made public. It'll be on the city website. You'll see what your status is as a homeowner. And then from there, we'll target, it's likely going to be street by street, as we kind of coordinate it with our CHIPS paving as well, so that we're not disturbing streets, that we're just paving. So we'll have to come up with a plan as to who gets replaced when, once we get to that point in October.
One more question with that. 99% of the houses in the city have lead lines, probably.
Yeah, it's a little.
I mean, the newer.
The newer ones, right?
Okay. And all of those lead lines through this whole city, the sewers run right next to them. They run just like this. Here's your lead line, here's your sewer. So you're gonna have to understand how many sewers are gonna get broken coming out of those houses as you're digging. They're gonna collapse. Because it's all tile, it's all clay tile sewer.
It also adds to the cost too, because New York State Department of Health requires either a 10-foot separation between water and sewer lines, or you have to encase the sewer line in concrete. So either way, it's an added cost.
Do you anticipate more funding from the state coming down year after year, or is that 541 kind of represent all of the grant money for this?
Yep, so this is going to be a year-by-year rollout from the federal government, coming down to the state level, really based on the inventory that we completed at the end of this year. So this extra money that brought us up to this little over $500,000 is to get us through this inventory and maybe just start some replacements with that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion?
Well, when they bring in contractors, will they bid out more than one contractor? Instead of sticking with one contractor, it'll be here for 200 years doing this.
Yeah, it would be a year-by-year bid, and we can handle that however we want. If we want to have multiple contractors working at once on different streets, we have to think about it though, because that could be a coordination issue too, which, how that goes with one contractor blaming the other for the delay. So we'll work through it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Do a roll call on this one, Mr. Ryan.
Ryan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Dillon.
Yes.
Powers. Yes. Marmaid.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Urbanek.
Yes.
Any new business? Old business? Okay. Comments from the floor. I see some people here, so I assume we've got some comments from the floor. show of hands, so I kind of have a sense. Okay. All right. Yeah, we try to keep everything to 3 to 5 minutes typically, so just so I give you an idea of that. So feel free to step up.
My name is Scott Chrisman, we'll be playing some at Little Falls, President of Little Falls Little League. A lot of stuff flying around in the city bus searcher and all these sports, even field over events. I don't have a lot of facts, I have, just here's what actually is going on.
Okay. I can explain. We looked at the field, we looked at all of our properties within the city, and looking at building revenue this year is very important to the city. The city is financially under stress, and we're looking at we've been working for the last 8 weeks with state auditors. And when they see that we are losing $160,000 a year on the Vets Park and bringing in very little revenue, they start looking at the idea, is there an opportunity to be able to set a price, a rate sheet for the different fields. And the field that everybody is familiar with, the Diamond Dog Field, is the largest, and by contract, those rates have been set for a number of years. So there's no change in the rates for the large field. The other fields, the smaller fields, we did look at competitive analysis of what others are charging in other areas in the region, and that's where the rates came up originated. So that went through the Board of Public Works, and I think Mike Licio was there at that meeting. We had 2 letters that were introduced at that meeting, and they voted unanimously that the rates were fair. And the rates for the Little League field were set at $25 a month, unlimited usage. The other fields were at $50 a month, unlimited usage. And that's pretty much what it is.
Okay, so if Little League has to pay $25 a month, does that mean you maintain the field then?
That means that we do the same maintenance that we do every year for the Little League.
So you
The
mow
Little League,
the field for 12 minutes? It takes 12 minutes once a week to mow the field.
okay, the Little League field takes the least amount of maintenance.
Okay.
Okay, there is, it does require maintenance. It does require the mowing, the bathrooms are used. There's just a lot to maintain the whole park, obviously.
But anybody
But
can walk
the-
out there and use the bathrooms.
Okay, let me explain. The Little League, it was negotiated with the Little League.
No,
That
nothing
there's-
was ever negotiated with Little League.
Well, Patty Lars is the one.
Yeah, she sent me something to fill out, but no, I didn't agree to anything, and why would I fill out a rental agreement with just a thing to fill out? I don't have anything of the agreement. There's no,
Okay, well, I can't explain. This is a simple application, and may I finish?
but why now?
Okay, why now that we're doing this?
Yeah,
Because it is, it's prudent. It is also one of those things when you look at the cost of the Veterans Park, that's why. The cost of Vets Park, and Jennifer would know this very well, is when you're losing money and you've got to spend another $1 million within a year to be able to keep revenue coming in, it's not a really positive picture from a financial perspective.
I understand it,
So
but
this year-
what is $25 a month solve for the city?
No, it's a good faith effort. Basically, that we are trying. We are working through the process of,
You do realize there's not anywhere else in our area that churches use sports?
I do not realize that, and I don't believe that, because I personally have made calls to some of the different places. That any field that is at the level of Vets Park is not everywhere, okay? So if you're talking about if the Little League, this is a non-issue for Little League. I have already waived the
I'm
fees.
involved in other sports than just Little League.
Okay. So it's been done, it's set, it's been voted on. This is not a forum that has a vote on that. This is, BPW did, they heard those who showed up, and chose to, vote it in. I don't have a personal vote in any of that. I can explain why, I can explain, and I understand that in the best situation, we would never have rates for any of our field. We wouldn't have rates for renting out Norman Park, we wouldn't have rates for renting out Rotary Park, it would all be free. But that's not the reality that we're working with today.
And at Royal Park, you're not renting the park, anybody can go to the park, you're renting the pavilion.
Whatever
And
happens.
and at Rotary Park, you're renting the building, you're not, anybody can go to the park.
Right, there's fees.
But, so, my issue is anybody can go to Vets Park and use Vets Park. Why do the sport, anybody can, 12 kids can go down to Vets Park and have a pickup baseball game, or a pickup softball game. You're gonna charge some guys to use the field too?
It's just the leagues. We're working with the leagues because the leagues do schedule at the time, and they play multiple games at the fields. There is more upkeep, there's maintenance, there's that sort of thing. There's even the electricity, having the lights
Well,
on.
really pays for your own electricity right there.
Yeah. Well, in some fields, they tapped into the city poles. Other fields, they did not. And there was a confusion with the field that you play on, that it was owned by Little League, and it is not. It's a city.
Well, I understand it's a city field. I get that.
But there was some in the beginning, so there's really, it is what it is. There's no change. We'll definitely take it under advisement as we start to refine what we do with policies regarding the parks in the future, but right now the rate sheet stands. We did offer a waiver for Little League because of what they've been doing, during the last year. But if it's not,
the last year, it's been since 1956, we've been self-sufficient.
I can only work with the year I'm in.
Well, I understand, but
So it has been waived, and in other team, we offered a 50% discount because of the low-income children that are involved in that league, and also the fact that they wouldn't be using all the facilities, they wouldn't be using the concession stand, they wouldn't be using the press box, things like that. So I've been more than accommodating, and that was one of the directives in the BPW meeting, that here's the rate sheet, this is what we're going with, and if I can accommodate people that are having hardships to play here, I will do so and have done so.
all right.
I'd like to say something, if I may. I picked up my grandchildren every afternoon. You know that, everybody knows that. I was approached by a state trooper and other people that told me, because I'm on board of public works, that I have a target on my back. A target. Nobody in this city is going to threaten my ass. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No one
They wouldn't tell me this if it wasn't true. A state trooper would not come up to me and tell me this. That's not going to happen in this city. Nobody's going to run me off the board. Nobody's going to run me out of here. I'll vote the way I can vote, the best I can vote. For your information, I wasn't at that meeting for the board. I was not
Everyone
there.
knows it.
I had no idea.
Everyone
I called Debbie to find out what was going on, because I had no clue. When you had people coming up to you in the park telling you this, the state trooper's not going to lie to you. Other mothers are not going to lie to me. What reason would they have a lie to come up to me and tell me this? I think that's bad. I think it's bullshit. I've been here all my life. Right now, I have 8 grandchildren playing ball. My grandson chased for the Generals, right? College. He played all the way through, all the way down to the little minor leaguers and the little girls softball. 8 grandchildren. You think I'm out to hurt any kid in this city? No, I'm not looking at you. I'm just looking at the group, because I don't know what the target on that.
They ain't gonna have to. They ain't gonna have to.
Well,
Some people put on there.
a lot of this played out on Facebook, and it's felt like a vigilante group, rather than call for specific information. And my door is always open. My phone, my cell phone is posted everywhere. Anyone can call in anytime for details. But that didn't happen.
These fees, when you examine these fees, they're fairly nominal. These are not exuberant fees. You're just trying to capture a little bit of money from the leagues themselves. Maybe it, helps us in our burden, trying to balance budgets, trying not to charge every single senior citizen or anybody who's retired in this town fees for capturing. We realize the importance of Vets Park. Vets Park is incredibly important. It's a center of activity, and we've poured a lot of money into Vets Park. We continue to do that. It is a gem of this valley, but we're just trying to not only capture a few fees. We've all discussed this before, and is it the best situation? Is it the best solution? No, but there are no best solutions. We're just doing what we need to do.
I just wanted to express, in my conversation with you regarding this, I expressed that I mostly just want to make sure that the city is being very lenient, because this is kind of an abrupt thing that has happened. And sometimes change can be something that people are a little hesitant to do. So I just want to make sure that the city is being very lenient with timing of when these payments are due, and how we're going to kind of work with people to not have to pay it right away and do it on their own.
And we have had a request for that, and we certainly have accommodated that nicely. So, we understand, and abrupt is, I've been in office for 4 months, so it's unabrupt, right? I mean, everything's new, and there are some decisions that can't wait, and a lot of it resulted in revenue. Go ahead, Jennifer.
First, I want to say, Dave, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying you guys did, I'm not saying anybody out there did.
And
But when you got people coming up to you, Jen,
that isn't.
you've been on this side of it.
I 100% agree, and I just want you to know that that certainly was never,
You
didn't
know
come
how
from
it is, you
anybody.
know how it is in a small city.
I do, I
And
understand.
when you're not even at the meeting to defend your, I don't even know what they're talking about.
If I would have heard that, I would have told everyone.
I'm sure you would, Mike. When I wasn't even there, you know that.
Anyone who asked, and I I did say that you were not there, so I do just want to let you know that.
I know. That's right. That's right.
Well, okay, well, let's just follow the rules and go through, right, it's not, okay. I just want to say a couple of things. One, we talked about how this played out on Facebook, and that was never an intent. It was an attempt to get the groups together, have a conversation, so that we could approach you in an organized fashion.
Fair enough.
It was never anything other than that. In fact, I didn't put any information in there. I just said we are going to be charged, some per season, some per game, and I specifically said I don't know the amount.
And don't let the powers that be know we're doing this.
Well, I don't think that it was appropriate for Mr. Warner to send me an email with one word that said funny.
What's wrong with an email that says funny? What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with the powers that be? We
I don't
want to
know.
play this game, we can play it.
It's not a game, Jennifer.
It's-
Especially when you mention My Little Falls and me out there. So
I don't believe I mentioned you.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
It was worded very
Okay.
familiar. Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Okay. So I guess my question is, one, I'm back up, one statement, that we would have just maybe appreciated being included in the conversation kind of before it was dropped on us. And two, my question is, so Little League, whether it's $25 a month or a waiver or whatever it ends up being, Little League puts in about $3,500 a season into that field. They buy the clay. I understand the city mows it and they take care of the bathrooms. I'm just saying, if you're gonna charge that fee, are we also required to spend $3,500 replacing the boards on the bleachers that have rotted through, painting them, painting the dugouts? You know, doing, and we can give you a whole list of those things, and I don't want to pick it apart right now because I don't think it's the time or place. I'm just saying, it's the expectation to do all of those things and also be charged that I think
Yeah, I didn't realize the city mandated that you do any of that, but
they don't.
we did it voluntarily, okay. And so the $25 obviously wouldn't even compensate for all the work that you've done, right? And
Right.
that's why it was waived this year. And I asked for a list of some of the things that you were doing, a bulleted list that I could attach it to the application. So we file it away so we know what we did, what we
And
get
that is
next year.
being worked on, getting gathered.
So there's really no problem right now.
For
because
this year, I'm trying to look, like, obviously, this is, we don't want to be here every year, right? And so, and I don't expect an answer to any of this.
Right. The rate sheet is what the rate sheet is, right? So next year, when it's time to fill out your application, we'll revisit the same thing. But it doesn't have to be in a public forum. You can just call Patty or myself, and we'll work through that with you.
So, you know, it literally pays for the scoreboard over there and the batting cage. And, you know, there's just expenses that have gone in there because it was understood that really had that
So those are
exclusive.
specifically for Little League and not for the city. They're specifically for Little League use.
Little League purchase.
Only Little League's use.
Literally purchased them.
Yeah, okay. All
So,
right.
I just wanted to bring those to the attention, and the Facebook post was certainly never an intent to like get a mob going. It was to get an organized group together
Yeah.
to have.
It's a powerful medium, isn't it? It's interesting. But thank you, I appreciate your comments. Anyone else?
Yeah, me. My name's Ann McCann, and I have grandchildren that play sports in the city. And I'd like to know, in all the years these kids in this town have been playing sports, where the hell do our city taxes go? And don't tell me that that money goes for the maintenance that gets done up there. What's it take, 10 minutes to mow that little grass up there? And the Little Falls High School pays $11,000 for the softball fields to take care of theirs. So why is the city starting to charge all these families money? I think it's a bunch of bullshit. So I'd like to know your answers to that. All of a sudden, we get a new mayor and she's gonna charge our children to play sports. Would you rather they're running around the streets and then you're gonna charge their families fines because their kids are out past 10 o'clock at night because they have no place to go? Because that's what it's gonna come down to. It's gonna come down to the parents that can't afford to pay. Their kids are gonna be running around the streets, and then you're really gonna have a problem in this town. What are you gonna start charging next? The swimming pool? The parks?
I will do whatever it takes to keep the city running and the community going forward. And if it means that certain parcels of assets that we have, and I consider the field an asset for the city, that we have to charge a field rate like most cities do.
But have you had thought about the people in this town that can't afford to pay for all this extra? They have to pay for sports equipment for their children. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna have to pay to let their kids play sports?
All the reason for those who are having a hardship with their league, and it is a hardship for them, come talk to me. I'm making concessions and trying to help those that are low income. So there's plenty of.
I get people on Facebook will messaging me privately asking me because I have a grandson that's a little bit older. And they're asking me, does he have any extra, cleats that he's not using anymore because we can't afford to go buy them. So now a lot of them message me telling them they're pulling their kids from the sports programs. So they're gonna be just running around the streets. So what's gonna happen then?
Well, and I think if you're talking about Little League.
I'm talking about all the sports.
Yeah, well, it is.
And that's what's gonna happen. This town's gonna turn into Herkimer.
Well, certainly I would not like that to happen, but the reality is that there are certain choices that we have to make going forward.
I agree, but you know what? Look elsewhere. Don't take anything away from our youth. That's what we keep. We try to keep our city safe. We're trying to keep our kids into sports. so they're not running around being hoodlums.
Well, and you're a perfect candidate for coming in and talking about the hardship, and we will look at it, and just like we did with the Little League. And so, you know, I can't get any cheaper than free.
We're not asking for free. We're just looking for something that people can actually afford.
And
Why not charge one fee for the whole league? One fee, and say, okay, we're gonna charge you $500 for the season.
No.
Why?
You're misunderstanding the fee structure. And it's posted online, and I don't know if you've seen it, but.
I have seen it, and that's what I said. There are people in this town that can't afford it. If, you know, you're gonna start charging the teams extra money where they get money from people that sponsor them, they're gonna pull their kids out of sports.
Okay, $25 a month, unlimited access for the team. That's the cost.
Well, I agree, but the people that can't afford it, who's that gonna fall back on? It's gonna fall back on the little league teams.
Then come in and talk about it. I can't say any clearer. The rate sheet is what the rate sheet is. I'm not changing it at this point. I will refine it as we go forward. We'll see how this year goes.
Well, at this point, you know what? We were supposed to get revitalization of Little Falls Main Street, $10 million. And from what I understand, the last mayor spent half of it over the south side. And people come into our Main Street, which is a piece of shit. And where's that money gone?
With the downtown revitalization grant, that is a reimbursable grant from the state.
I agree, but where did it go?
It's still at the state.
From what I understand, the last mayor spent a lot of money over the south side of it.
No, it's incorrect information.
Well, that's what I was told, and that came from a very credible source.
That source is.
So I'm just saying, whatever happens, you know what? All I care about is the sports and the children in this town.
Got it. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your comments tonight. I'll take them into consideration for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
I guess it's not the sales guy comes on. Surprising that you talk. Thank you for having me, guys. I think this is getting kind of emotional, and I think we need to have some, everybody's got to calm down and just talk about this. You guys don't know me, my name's Mike Lisho. I've been involved in youth sports now for around close to 30 years. I spent more time with my kids not involved than I have with them involved. So I have a deep passion for all the sports that are played in this town, from girls to boys. We can all talk about the whys and what. I think what we need to do is, as the common council, the DTW, and the presidents of youth organizations, we all need to sit down. You give us all your data that you have, you came up with this measures, but let's talk intelligently. Because there's a lot of half-truths out there right now. Like, one of the half-truths is, we got to raise the money for the lights. Well, why do we have to fund lights, right? There's a half-truth out there that, you only got data from certain places. And we can talk about the list of places that are brought up, the ones in Poughkeepsie and Syracuse. Some of them are really relevant to Little Falls. If we're going to go use their model as a template to run the city, and then, that opens the door for when we read taxes, we can use their model or tax average as an assessment. So let's get it all out on the table with the truth. Because when you deal with half-truths, you have a lot of emotional things, a lot of things said that aren't true. So I think, our ask to the Common Council and DPW is, let's sit down as an intelligent group with all your facts. Give us what you came up with. We'll give you what we have. I think every one of the organizations is not trying to say, hey, we're not doing this. We understand hard times. We all live in this town too. We all pay taxes. I think what we need to do is not solve adult problems on the backs of children. I said it 3 times with DPW, I'm going to say it again tonight as many times as I can. Solving the problems of adults on the backs of our children is wrong. I'm never going to buy into you charging $1 for this. I understand that things have to change. I'm on board with that. I evolve in my job 24 hours a day. I just don't understand the logic because it doesn't solve your problem. We could talk about Pop Warner, all right, because that's the one I'm most involved in now.
You know, I know with the initial thing, we haven't talked, so I don't know what you're gonna charge, but the initial thing is $250 a day with vets, right? So that's $1,500 to my organization if I were to pay 6 days. If you were to charge us what the letter, the standard is, now we can talk, we can negotiate that. I don't deal with negotiation. I mean, I don't want to be able to say, well, this year you're going to charge me $1,500, next year you might charge me $750, next year you might charge me $2,500. I don't spend money I don't have, I don't budget money I don't know about. I want to know now what's going to happen next year. I've already got this year covered for our organization. I want to know what next year is going to bring the year after, so that there's a sustainable system in place of success. So on a limit of prayer, you might change it in your years. I think that I'm most upset about. So I think we need to sit down, get rid of all the half-truths that are out there. You know, because the half-truth about Pop Warner not having their building, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you need to build something.
Permit.
Permit. You're right, it wasn't permit. Chuck and Mayor Glass met with me 3 to 4 times, me and Mark Meepock. We asked twice, do we need a permit? We're told no twice. If we need to get a permit, and we failed on something, please let us know, we'll fix that problem. But yes, these are the type of half-truths out there that cause nothing but animosity to people, and they're getting nothing done.
Yeah.
So I really think the best thing to do to move forward, in my humble opinion, and Dave, I apologize that anything that happened to you. I was at that meeting, and if I had been part of that, out of my heart,
Sure you did.
you know, I know you're a good man, you're a sports guy. I think we need to sit down as a collective group, and I bet you when we meet there, we'll all have attention to whatever we have. I fully believe that.
Well,
Because the money you're asking to charge solves none of your problems. Zero. Right? Like, you can't collect enough money from the youth sports. These are all non-profit organizations that, yes, there are highs and lows. Right now, youth football's on a tremendous high. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not trying to hide anything. That's not going to change. There's been years where it's been bankrupt. They've had no money. They've had no teams. We had to send our kids elsewhere to play because they couldn't fund the team. You know, it's an incredibly expensive organization. There's multiple people in this room that yearly help me. Without that help, that organization fails. So now just to add another layer of cost to that, no matter what the cost is, it's just a burden. And it's a burden again. We're solving a problem of our budget. You're gap in your budget, the problem of the best deal on the backs of children, and it's wrong. Nobody in this room, if they lived in Little Falls, grew up and had to pay to use a field, pool, park, or anything in this town. Not one penny was taken out of your parents' pocket to do something. If you need to do that, then charge so much that nobody uses the fields. That solves your problem. You charge $25, $150, it's just more of a, when you have organizations that aren't run well, that aren't run as well as the groups that we have now, it's decimating those kind of figures. It's decimating. You told somebody a couple of $1,000 to play, they couldn't do it. It almost bankrupted basketball, and the church did it this year. Now, I know they got that resolved, but it bankrupted the basketball program.
well, thanks, I appreciate
so-
your opinion, I'll take it under
So
advisement.
that's my ask. I hope you guys consider that.
And the rate sheet stands the way it is because it has been voted in, but we'll
Well, let me
certainly
ask you that.
retool.
Can I just ask a question? It was voted in, but how many common council members knew that vote was going to happen? I mean, can I get that information somehow, that they knew that this was going to be in that budget as an effective use this town?
BPW has the authority to make rates for different properties, and they do so. And all of the Rotary Park, Moreland Park, all of the fees that are associated there. If you want to camp out at Rotary Park, it costs you $20 a night. If you want to rent a kayak, they set those rates every day, all the time.
And those rates should be separate, people don't leave.
But it is also their authority to be able to set the rates for veterans.
So you think charging a third tax to play people in this town is right?
I'm sorry,
All right, you pay city tax, and that part doesn't see that.
it doesn't cover half.
I'm not talking about the economies. You pay school taxes. You get somewhere, and this is a half-truth thing, some dollar amount from school tax that we all pay. So now a third tax is being assessed to us to use these grounds. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not a tax, it's a permit fee, you do not, a tax is something everybody puts in.
They call it a money, it's a money.
We're not going to go anywhere with this, honestly. I mean, we've had a chance to talk to DPW before they voted at length, and I appreciate your comments and your input. It's just one of those things that we are charging rates right now. This is what we're doing. And no rates on the field is not fair. Some paid, some didn't pay. It was all over the board. So I'm leaving it as it is. But I definitely appreciate your comments. I understand where you're coming from. And, you know, there are some decisions that are easier to make than others, and you could tell from the DPW meeting. This was a difficult decision for them. So,
I understand that. I would
and
just like
as we
you
go
to,
forward, and we find that $25 a month or $50 a month is too much for the teams, we'll adjust as we go forward. But I couldn't have made it any easier for people to come in and talk to me if it is a hardship. I have done several different conversations, whatever we can do. If you need time to raise the money this year, because it's a new thing this year, I've even granted that. So I can do no more than that. It's already been voted on. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who came out to talk about it tonight. But it is what it is.
I just wanted to highlight one thing that I heard a lot of from the audience today is that, you know, the people of this town do a lot of volunteer work to make sure that these programs are running. And I know that the council has no authority in any of this, and so this is just an opinion of mine, but I do feel I would support considering that work and effort, the volunteer hours, the mowing, whatever is done on these fields. I would support some consideration being accounted for regarding that and in lieu of some of these fees, if that's possible. You know, the details and logistics of that would be something you have to sit down at the table, but I think that would be
consideration in the future, because it is, it's all employees of the city that work there.
Yeah.
We get some interns in the summertime that help out, but it's not the same. The level of care, especially the big field, there's a lot that they do with that big field.
Yeah, I just want to recognize the volunteer hours and manpower that people are putting in to make sure that these programs are running.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
I have a question. When it comes to the Diamond Dogs, the school and college, how far out do those contracts go?
3 years typically. I've looked at all of them. With the college has, some of these things were handshake deals, but they've been billed for 3 years. And so we're looking at the Diamond Dogs as a reference. It's a 3-year contract. Now, any contract comes through council for this.
Yeah, I mean,
but the rate sheet where you're going to come out and you're going to.
I mean, what
is a different thing.
What we could possibly make up charging these teams or these organizations, I mean, the college benefits off of youth sports in the long run. The high school benefits off of youth sports. Moving forward, I mean, it's set in stone for this year, but moving forward, had we make them knowledgeable of our situation, maybe they kick in more, the Diamond Dogs, the high school, the college, and it lessens the burden on the youth.
They actually are on a graduated scale that every year they bump up a little bit. So they're pretty much as much, being competitive and with other fields. They're paying a very fair share. So I don't think that's a source of revenue for $25 or $50 a month for the other teams to play. But certainly I did receive 3 phone calls. One that wanted to volunteer $800 for any team that would pay for it for the year. Other 2 were right around $200. And so I sent that back to the leagues and told them just to earmark their donation as field expense. So if you haven't heard from them, you should, because they were very interested in wanting to support the team, and for the community to support it that way, I think is wonderful. So there are people out there that are willing, and I know with Mike, I think, is it the Elks Club that is going to do a chicken dinner or something and helping out. So you've got a lot of people who care about the teens and the kids, and who want to reach out for these things, so I'm appreciative of that. Anything else?
Are the fees per team or per league?
Per league.
Per league. Okay. You keep saying team, so
Interchange, but per league,
well, no, not exactly, because Little League has more than one team.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. So it's for the league.
Okay, Hunter has 6 teams in each year, or no, 8. Okay, so it's per league.
Yep.
Okay, that's a big difference in my mind.
Per league per month.
Okay,
So you can you can play a lot for $50, or Little Leagues pays a lot for $25. So these are very, very modest fees. And, comparing what others were charging, they were charging a lot more. We came up with these to be really, really
I gotta ask
modest.
you on this, because this is one of those half-truths that's out there. Can you give me any city entity that is charging? You need one.
Yeah, there's several, and Patty can,
Now, they're charging the youth, or they charging, like what we've always done, remember?
they're charging the league.
They're
Golf,
charging
like golf course.
Yeah.
Golf course.
No, like, so, you don't charge, the golf course doesn't charge any youth people up there golf. They're part of that program.
Well, somebody pays their green fees.
Okay.
And Patty can give you a whole list, so I don't have it at hand.
Because, I mean, just on the Pop Warner side, also, one of the officers of Tri-Valley, which encompasses 23 of the local organizations from here to Westmoreland, Vernon, or out that way, and all up down, Little down. 23 teams, 0 cost to anyone.
Huh, interesting, because we found the opposite, and we.
Well, that's why I think we should get together and share data.
Several $100s for some of the things, depending
I
on
think,
the. So it depends on the field too, obviously, right?
well, I mean, Bobby's players play all that skill speedway on it. I mean, there's a lot of turf out there. I mean, there's a lot of really good facilities out there that these guys play on grass, you know.
Yeah, I just think we're at a standoff, and I can take what you're saying under advisement, like I said. I we'll refine it, we'll retool it for this year, if there is a project, which I can't imagine we haven't already talked to all of the leagues. I believe we have, and we've had applications. If we've missed one, certainly they will step up. But we've negotiated, everybody's happy, checks have come in. I think it's kind of past dialing it back to 0. That's not going to happen.
I just have one other comment regarding this, and this is just kind of a consideration for the future. I think one of the big issues regarding this whole situation is that a lot of people who approached me felt that they were blindsided by this, that this happened very suddenly, and that they had no way of preparing for it. And I just want to keep in mind that feeling and how much it has caused this to explode into something a lot more serious, and just try to keep open communications with any organizations or entities that might be impacted by any city decisions.
Yeah, and it really wasn't. It was, we started at the beginning of the year talking about this, and it had to go through our internal processes first to be voted on, and then to communicate with people as they started coming in and getting applications or filling out their schedule and all of that. And so every person was talked to. And
I know
but I agree,
there's
if we had 6 months, but I've only been in office for 4 months, so.
and I know that there's a balance between municipal red tape that we have to go through processes and all of that, but just keeping it in mind,
Sure.
I think as a city we should be vigilant about making sure that people.
I can guarantee I'm probably about the most transparent that
Yes.
you've seen in a long time. So, but yes, I, welcome your thoughts and I appreciate your time. Anything else?
Sorry to extend your meeting.
Hello, my name is Pam Unger. I've lived in this town all my life. I am here just to spit out some facts. I did reach out to local municipalities, to be specific, Frankfurt, Ilion Mohawk, Herkimer, and Dowsville. And I realize that all of us, all the cities around are very different, and they are all in a very different financial situation. Those places, those cities, those towns do not charge. I was on the phone today with Little League in Syracuse. They own their own fields. They do not pay taxes for their fields because they are tax exempt. They have a lacrosse program. It's played behind one of their local schools, as well as a soccer program. They are not charged to use the facility. I also looked on the website for Poughkeepsie. That was another site that was looked into. If you look at the city of Poughkeepsie and you go to Parks and Rec, you will see it states in there that the youth programs, the youth leagues, are not charged. The Adirondack Sports Complex, which was looked into, and the Hudson Sports Complex, which was looked into, are privately owned. I am not saying that we are not in need of money. I have no children, so I am not here fighting for them. I am fighting for them all. As I stood before a different group of people before, and I went out and I petitioned and lost my seat on the Recreation Committee because I believed in the city pool. So I am here now saying we need to, as a group, please reconsider and look at these things and what we are doing and how we are addressing it. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Can I
Yes,
speak?
sure.
Just want to make another point. My name's Barry Van Gorder. I've got a heart condition, so I'll try to keep it calm. I've lived here over 70 years. And a point I want to make is, of course, everybody's saying we don't want to hit the children with this. But if you go up there during the week and everything, and they got a game, a t-ball or Little League, you'll see tons of parents, grandparents, and it's good for the community. They all get to know each other. Hey, that's your kid. And they all intertwine, and they're all happy. You hit the bee's nest out of the tree on this one, because now they're not happy. And the population goes down when they're not happy. And the population goes down, and the revenue goes down, and down we all go. That's not a good thing. So if something's going to happen like this, it should be run through these people who we elected to represent us. Not just say, hey, this is what we're doing. And we call these people up. I didn't know. Yes, you can do that. I heard you can, but it's not right to do that. So I just thought I'd let you know.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mary. Okay, so without anybody else, let's move to the next level here. I am going to move on to mayor comments, and I'll be brief. I want to give you an idea of the last month, what we've been working on. We've met again with a communications company about fiber that they're moving through our area as part of their grant and expanding fiber from Herkimer to Canandaigua, and in that process coming through the Falls. We've met with them multiple times, and they're very excited about being able to extend that to us on Main Street and perhaps Canal Place. So very early conversations, but positive for getting fiber into the city, which I think will be wonderful. So this is something that they're working on. Their groundbreaking for the wires coming through is somewhere around 2025, more than likely that will hit our area. So that would be good. That would be nice. It's good for business, good for development.
Would that be the cost absorbed by them completely, or is the city going to be involved in that at all?
We're working on it right now. They have intimated that they will do the bulk of the cost. Okay, because they're already coming through. but there may be some cost to the city, but we're not to the point where we know that.
So
that
it's
is
perfect.
likely to be able to share. It's just, it's something in the infancy that is, we've had numerous meetings, lots of interest in helping us out, as well as actually the town of Little Falls. They're wanting to talk to them as well. So all good. We met with Chief Thomas and I met with the school superintendent, business manager on our SRO program, safety resource officers, and we have 2 officers involved right now. And they seem to be very happy. A lot of challenges with kids, and emotional behavioral issues. And we talked quite a bit about that. We've got some plans for the future. The next week, we're working on the second phase of our brownfield study, thanks to the help of IDA, so we have their help, which it will open up additional grants for us in redeveloping some of the brownfield areas. Let's see, the other thing, we've been moving forward on the repair of the Red Coat Bridge. Everybody asks us about that all the time. And engineers are meeting and working with Chet and IDA to refine that, but we're getting closer and closer. So that's for a temporary fix, which is a very good thing. We've been working on Daniel Street and Diamond Street with sewer and repairs that became pretty extensive once we opened up things. And so now we're getting very close to the paving process, which will be the next week and then the following week, the 2 different locations. But similar problems, but a very expensive thing for us and unexpected, but it'll be nice when it's done. The other thing, we've been talking further with the town of Little Falls, expanding shared services and shared vision for our 2 municipalities, and that's going great. We added engineering services as one of our shared services for the town, and we still do fire and ambulance, and I'm trying to think what else, codes, we do codes with them as well. So our revenue generating through shared services is really starting to take off, and we've got some good contracts for the next, 3 years. I think most of them are 3-year contracts. So happy about that. Let's see. We've also been talking with the town about collaborating the vision with regard to our comprehensive plan, zoning, things like that, to work together on a shared vision for our little region here. And our accounting firm work is done, right, Sarah?
Bobadillo?
Yes, yes. So that's great. We're making progress in that direction, and expect to have auditors that have been here have hopefully concluded after about 8 weeks. So we should see the report coming soon. That's it for the mayor's report. Any other?
I have a question for you. It's kind of an old business thing. I just wondering if you have any updates regarding the homeless population, if the police have noticed any trends one way or another as the weather gets warmer.
I can tell you just from looking, at the stats and working with Chief Thomas pretty closely with this, we've really made some good headway, and I think it stems from the policy that we put forth of getting human services to Herkimer County to work with us for the homeless. So they basically, initially, the program was they would come in and they would ride around with police officers and go to encampments or just pose people who are out there and ask if they can help. And the police typically do that. They give them a pamphlet and phone numbers and how to help and all that. The problem is they just throw the pamphlet away, right? And if the police always would take them to whatever shelter they would like to go to, they even call the shelters to make sure there's room. And so that worked okay, but once we got the human services, Catholic Charities was one that really stepped up. They come out now once a month, and they go through the city, and they talk to these people and offer assistance. And they've got a couple of programs, one in particular, that you don't have to be clean to be able to go into one of their shelters, which is nice up in Utica. So they've really been doing a lot with that. I've noticed a lot less homeless on the street over the last couple of months. There really hasn't been too much. So now the weather's warmer again, probably will kick up, I would imagine. So we'll keep retooling and adding additional services where we can, but it made a big difference for us to partner with Human Services because we don't have the skill set to be able to help the mentally ill or those that with drug addiction, and they do, and they're happy to reach outreach. So,
Thank you.
Excuse me, can I address that about the, just something with the city? We have,
I'm sorry, we moved on.
what's that?
We've already moved on to another area.
I'm not talking about the sports. I'm talking about the homelessness and the condition of a lot of the homes in our city. Why don't you go after those absentee landlords? Make them pay and clean up their properties. I have a homeless guy that lives around the corner from me, and this gentleman right here lives two doors down from me.
Okay.
He lives underneath a stone bridge on our street, but if that stone falls and he gets killed under there, who's gonna be responsible for that?
I will answer your question, but this is, once the public hearing is done.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to see you would mention about the homelessness.
We
have a lot of empty houses here that are still living.
We do, and our codes department has been working very closely with that. We have another program that we've been working with, and the police officers actually go and check the doors of the empty buildings and all. So we have a lot of good things going on in that direction. Thank you, appreciate your help, and we'll adjourn from there. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?